My sister moved into my apartment, then started using my name all over the city behind my back. My sister Amber called me at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, crying hard. She said she had been sleeping in her car for 3 months after losing her apartment and the nights were getting cold. I drove to the 24-hour diner where she was parked and found her behind the building, curled under a thin blanket with garbage bags piled in the back seat. She was my baby sister, so I didn't think twice. I brought her home, cleared out my office, and gave her the space. The next morning, I bought her clothes, shoes, toiletries, and a warm coat. I paid her phone bill, fixed her resume, made her a new email, and helped her apply for jobs. For a while, it looked like she was trying. She woke up early, used my laptop, and had dinner ready when I came home. Then Mrs. Lynn from next door stopped me by the mailboxes. She looked nervous and asked if I was okay. I said yes, but she didn't smile. Amber had come to her door asking for money. She told Mrs. Lynn I had cancer and needed help paying for treatment. Mrs. Lynn gave her $50 because she felt sorry for us. My whole face went hot. I knocked on more doors that night, hoping it was one awful mistake. It wasn't. The Harris family said Amber needed cash for interview clothes. The Delgados said she was collecting money for homeless veterans. Another neighbor said she claimed my car had been towed. Every house had a different story. When I confronted Amber, she burst into tears so fast it felt planned. She said she was ashamed to keep asking me for gas money and food. She said she only wanted cash to get back on her feet. I wanted to be angry, but she looked so broken that I started doubting myself. I made her promise to pay everyone back and never bother my neighbors again. She hugged me and said I had saved her life. I believed her, and that was my first mistake. After that, I watched her more closely. She still used my laptop, but she closed it whenever I walked in. Packages showed up under names I didn't know. She said they were job supplies, then snapped when I asked what kind of job needed designer purses. One evening, I found my bank envelope opened on the counter. Amber blamed the mailboxes downstairs. I wanted to believe that too. 2 weeks later, my landlord, Mr. Becker, called me at work. He asked why my sister was using my name, my address, and my income on rental applications across the city. I thought I misunderstood him. He said 3 landlords had called him to check if Amber lived in my apartment legally. One application listed my salary as hers. Another had my signature at the bottom. 6 places had her paperwork, and all of them used my information. My hands went cold. 10 minutes later, I opened the files and saw my own name copied again and again. My address, job, income, and fake signature were all there. Then I checked my credit report and my stomach dropped. 3 credit cards had been opened in my name. The charges were for clothes, electronics, and expensive home items I had never bought. One fraud agent said some items had already been returned for store credit and cash. That's when I understood the packages. Amber had been ordering things with my stolen cards, returning them at different stores, and keeping the money. I left work early and drove home shaking. Before I went inside, I asked Mr. Becker to come with me. When I opened the door, Amber was on my couch watching TV, eating takeout from a place I couldn't afford. She smiled like nothing was wrong. I set the applications, credit card statements, and neighbor notes on the coffee table. Then I asked her one question. How long have you been stealing from me? She looked at the papers, then at me, and the tears never came. Her face went flat. She didn't deny it. She didn't say sorry. She just shrugged and said, "So what? You'll forgive me anyway. You always do. That's what family does." The room went quiet. In that second, every warning I had ignored came back. Our parents had stopped letting her stay with them. Our brother had changed his locks. Her ex had blocked her. Her old roommates had called her a liar. I had told myself they were being cruel. Now I knew I had only been next in line. I picked up my phone and called the police while she stared at me. Her smile disappeared as I said my sister had forged my name, opened credit cards, and used my apartment for fraud. She jumped up and said I was ruining her life. I told her she did that when she chose me as her next target. Mr. Becker stood by the door while she grabbed her bags. When the officers arrived, I handed them the papers, the bank case numbers, and the neighbor's statements. Amber kept saying I was her family, but I didn't answer. The officer asked if she lived there with permission, and I said that permission was over. He told her,